There are certain sounds your body reacts to before your mind does. A knock at the wrong hour, a floorboard in an empty room, a phone vibrating in the dark. Some sounds don't feel loud. They feel personal. They feel aimed at you. That is how this story begins. Not with a scream, not with something breaking, not with a shadow in the corner of a room. Just with a phone lighting up in the dark and a message that should not have existed. A voice note from my own number. I live alone, and I'm one of those people who keeps my phone on silent almost all the time. No ringtone, no buzzing in my pocket, nothing. At night, I leave it face down on the bedside table and forget it exists. Most nights, that works. This was not most nights. I woke up because I heard the faint vibration against the wood. Just once. A small sound. So small, honestly, that I almost ignored it. I opened my eyes, looked at the ceiling for a second, then rolled over and checked the screen.
2:14 am.
One new voice message. No name, just my own number at the top. For a few seconds, I thought I was still half asleep. I actually remember blinking a couple times, waiting for the screen to make sense. Same area code. Same number.
Mine.
I sat up in bed. The room was completely dark except for the phone in my hand. My apartment was quiet in that late-night way that never feels natural, like the air itself is listening. At first, I assumed it had to be some kind of glitch. Spam. Spoofing. A weird network bug. I gotten fake calls before. Most people have. But a voice note felt different. More deliberate. I stared at it for a while before pressing play. And then I heard my own voice. Not similar. Not close.
Mine.
Low, breathless. Shaky in a way I had never heard before. Like I had been whispering while trying not to be heard by someone standing nearby. There were a few seconds of static first. Then my voice said, "Don't open the bathroom door." That was it.
No explanation.
No second sentence.
No joke.
Just static again, and then the message ended. I replayed it immediately. Same voice. Same whisper. Same sentence. "Don't open the bathroom door." I wish I could say I reacted logically. I didn't. I just sat there in bed with my heart starting to beat harder, staring at the phone like it might explain itself if I kept looking long enough. My apartment is small. Bedroom, short hallway, living room, kitchen, bathroom. From the bed, I couldn't see the bathroom door, but I could see the hallway leading toward it. Nothing moved. Nothing made a sound. That almost made it worse, because if there had been noise, I could have blamed the noise. If there had been footsteps, I could have called the police. If there had been some obvious sign that another person was in the apartment, at least the fear would have had a shape. But there was only silence, and my own voice telling me not to open one specific door. I checked the number again. Still mine. I checked the timestamp.
2:14 am.
Current time. 2:15. I checked sent messages. Nothing. No outgoing voice note. No call log. Nothing that made sense. Then I did what scared people always do first. I tried to make the fear smaller. I told myself it was some delayed audio file. Something old. Something corrupted. Maybe I had pocket recorded something by accident days ago and it had just sent late. Maybe I was hearing my own tired voice and making it sound stranger in my head than it really was. So I did the dumbest possible thing. I got out of bed. Not because I wanted to open the bathroom door. Not yet. Mostly because I wanted to prove that the message had worked on me. That I was standing in the middle of my bedroom, barefoot, wide awake at 2 in the morning, because of a whisper from my own phone. The hallway was cold. Not freezing. Just colder than the bedroom. The kind of temperature shift old apartments sometimes have. I stood there for a second, looking toward the bathroom. The door was closed. That was already strange. I never close it at night. Not fully. I leave it cracked open because the latch sticks. But now it was completely shut. I told myself maybe I had closed it earlier and forgotten. That is the kind of lie people tell themselves when the truth has not arrived yet. But the body already knows it is coming. I took one step closer. Then my phone vibrated again. So suddenly that I almost dropped it. Another voice message. Same number. My number. Timestamp.
2:16 am.
I pressed play right there in the hallway. Again static. Again my own voice. This time even lower. Even worse. Don't stand in the hallway. Then a sharp inhale like whoever recorded it had just seen something move. The message cut off. At that point, fear stopped being abstract. Because now it wasn't one impossible message. It was two. And the second one responded to what I was doing right now. I backed into the bedroom so fast I hit my shoulder on the doorframe. I shut the bedroom door and locked it. Then I stood there trying to breathe quietly, phone in one hand, eyes fixed on the gap under the door. Nothing. Still nothing. I wanted to call someone. Police, a friend, anyone. But I couldn't think of what I would say. Hi, yes, I think my future self is leaving me voicemails from 2 minutes ahead, and he sounds terrified of my bathroom. Even in panic, it sounded insane. Then I noticed something else. The timestamps. The first message had arrived at 2:14, the second at 2:16, 2 minutes apart. I looked at the clock, 2:17, and before I could fully understand why that mattered, another message came in.
2:18 am.
My hands were shaking when I opened it. This one started with breathing.
Fast breathing.
Then my voice whispered, "If you hear knocking, do not answer it." I looked up from the phone immediately, and for 1 second, the apartment was perfectly silent. Then someone knocked on the bathroom door. 3 soft knocks. Not loud, not violent, gentle, measured. Exactly the kind of knock that makes you lean in to listen harder. Every part of me went cold, because there was no one in the apartment except me. At least that was what I had believed a minute earlier. I stayed absolutely still. The knocking came again. Same rhythm. 3 knocks. The sound was faint through the hallway, but unmistakable. And the worst part was where it came from. Not the front door, not the wall, not the ceiling. The bathroom. Something was on the other side of the bathroom door. Inside it. Or maybe not inside it. Maybe behind it. Maybe waiting with its hand raised, patient enough to knock like it belonged there. Then the phone vibrated again.
2:20 am.
Another voice note. My voice now sounded raw, like I had been whispering for too long. You need to listen carefully. There was a pause. Then, it only moves when you check. I replayed that one 3 times. It only moves when you check. At first I didn't understand. Check what? The door, the hallway, the bathroom? Then I made the mistake that explained everything. I opened my bedroom door and looked out. The hallway was empty. The bathroom door was still closed. Nothing there. And the second I looked at it, the knocking stopped. Not faded. Not slowed. Stopped. Instantly. I closed the bedroom door again and stepped back. 30 seconds later, my phone vibrated.
2:22 am.
My voice again. You looked. Then, after a breath that sounded almost like a sob. Now it knows where you are. That was the moment I stopped trying to rationalize anything. Because there are only so many impossible things you can fit into one night before your mind gives up and lets fear take over completely. I shoved my dresser in front of the bedroom door. I dragged a chair under the handle, even though the door opened inward and the chair wouldn't really help. I turned on the bedroom lamp. Then the closet light. Then the flashlight on my phone. I wanted every corner visible. Every inch of the room lit. The apartment felt wrong now. Not dangerous in a simple way. Not like a burglar. Not like an intruder. Wrong in a way I can't describe any better than this. It felt like the apartment had learned I was afraid and had begun rearranging itself around that fear. I kept waiting for another knock. Instead, I got another message.
2:24 am.
My voice was even quieter now. Not just whispering. Hiding. I opened it. That sentence hit harder than any scream could have. Because I knew what it meant. It didn't mean some random future. It meant a future close enough to still be talking to me in minutes. A future where I had done the one thing the messages kept warning me not to do. Then the rest of the message played. Don't listen when it uses my voice. I remember staring at the phone for a long time after that one, because some part of me had still been holding onto the hope that the voice notes themselves were the dangerous thing, that they were the trick, that my number, my voice, the impossible messages were the trap. But if the message was telling the truth, then the voice notes were not the thing hunting me. They were what was left of me trying to help. And something else in the apartment had already learned how I sounded. I turned off the bedroom lamp. I don't know why. Maybe I thought the dark outside the room would make more sense if the room matched it. Maybe I didn't want to be visible under the door. Maybe fear just makes people stupid. The phone lit up again in my hand.
2:26 am.
Another voice note. I almost didn't play it. Almost. But I did. This time there was no static. Just my breathing. Then my voice barely audible. It's in the hall now. I froze. And from outside the bedroom, I heard something shift. Not a footstep. Not exactly. More like weight settling slowly onto old floorboards. One board at a time. Near the bedroom now. Close enough that the sound no longer felt like part of the apartment. Felt aimed. The next thing I heard was my own voice. Outside the bedroom door. Soft. Calm. Perfect. Open the door. I don't mean it sounded similar. I mean it was me. My exact voice, spoken in my exact rhythm. If I had recorded it earlier and forgotten, it would have sounded less accurate than this. Open the door. Then, after a pause, I know you're in there. I think that's when I started crying. Not loudly, not dramatically, just the kind of silent crying that comes when the body has run out of ways to carry fear. The phone vibrated again.
2:28 am.
I played the message while my own voice was still standing outside the bedroom. Inside the new message, future me was whispering so fast I could barely understand him. It wants you to think the bathroom matters. Then, it just needed you to wait long enough. My mind caught up to that sentence slowly. Too slowly, because the bathroom had never been the point. The warning had fixed all my attention on one door, one part of the apartment, one piece of the layout. And while I was afraid of the bathroom, something else had been getting closer. I looked toward my bedroom window. Locked. 3rd floor. No fire escape. Then toward the closet. Closed. Too small for anyone to hide in. Then the phone vibrated again.
2:30 am.
My voice. When you stop getting messages, run. I waited for the next one. 2:32. Nothing. 2:33. Nothing. Outside the door, my voice had also gone silent. That was somehow worse than hearing it, because by then I understood the pattern. As long as the messages kept coming, some version of me was still ahead of it, still alive long enough to warn me. Silence meant the distance between us had ended. I grabbed my keys, my wallet, and the lamp from the bedside table. Not because a lamp is a weapon, because it was heavy, and because holding something solid made me feel less imaginary. I moved the dresser. Slowly. Every sound it made felt enormous. Then I stood there with my hand on the doorknob, listening. Nothing in the hall. Nothing in the bathroom. Nothing anywhere. And that is what I hate most now when I think back on it. Not the voice. Not the messages. The silence. The feeling that the apartment was waiting for me to make the last choice myself. I opened the door and ran. Down the hallway, past the bathroom, past the kitchen, straight for the front door. I got it open. Actually got it open. Cold air from the corridor outside hit my face, and for 1 second I thought I had made it. Then I heard my phone vibrate one last time. Still in my pocket. I don't know why I checked it. I should have kept running. But I looked.
2:34 am.
Final voice note. I pressed play while standing in the open doorway. My own voice whispered, "You ran the wrong way." Then the apartment door behind me, the one to the neighboring unit across the corridor, slowly opened. And from inside that dark apartment, I heard my own voice say, "Open the bathroom door." I don't remember the stairs. I don't remember reaching the street. I only remember standing under a street lamp across from the building, trying to breathe, phone still in my hand, watching the 3rd floor window of my apartment. The bathroom light was on. I know I had never turned it on. I know that. And standing in the yellow square of that bathroom doorway, visible even from across the street, was a figure shaped like me. Not exactly me, just close enough that the distance did not help. It stood there for a long time. Then it lifted one hand and pressed it slowly against the inside of the glass. The phone in my hand vibrated once more.
No audio.
Just a text this time. From my own number. 3 words. Tomorrow, answer first. I changed my number the next day. Moved out by the end of the week. New building, new locks, new phone, new everything. For months, nothing happened. No strange calls, no messages, no voice notes. I almost convinced myself it had ended. Then yesterday, at 2:14 a.m., my new phone vibrated on the bedside table. Unknown number. One new voice message. I haven't played it yet. Still there. Waiting. And the bathroom door in this apartment has been closed all night.